Hello, today I want to show you the game between Anish Giri and Van Hao. So, Anish was white here, and let's see first what we can see here, what we can notice, where is the strength in white position. So we have a knight on e5, that is one good thing, and practically this is everything what is positive in white position for now. So he crossed the border, so he's on the other side and he's active. Positive side about that knight is that nobody can attack that knight, and the knight probably will stay for the rest of the game, or at least for the moment when we want to move him somewhere, but black can't move him from that place. The knight is pinned, so the knight can't go anywhere, because in that way we will capture the queen, or we have some discovered check, so we will probably capture something. The other thing here is that the rook is also pinned by the square on d7, because if the rook is not there, we can play knight d7 and then we will capture the knight. Also, this is attack on the queen, so double threat. So the rook must stay there, and the queen is also pinned because she is protecting c7 square, because that could be potential weakness in black position, that is the pawn on f7. How we can reach to that pawn? For now, maybe we don't have plan, but that will be your task for today, your idea how to reach to that pawn on f7. Let's try to find out how to do that. First, what we can see here is that black is already using, or he's holding d file, so we can't use that for us. We are not interested to trade the pieces, because if we trade the pieces, then we can't attack the pawn. I mean, we will have maybe less heavy pieces for that. So we are not interested about trading, especially not the queens. Okay, we can trade, but only if we capture one pawn for that. So we will trade the queens and extra pawn for us. That is probably good thing for us, because then in some endgame, rook endgame, probably we have great chance for a win. So let's figure out how we can put our heavy pieces on 7th rank. So first, what we can do here is we need space. We can't use 7th rank without space, because black is holding what is open here already. So we need new files. So that is why first move is b4. What a nice move, b4. Deep strategy with that move, we can say. So b4 idea is to open b file, and then b7 pawn is also weak because the rook can't go on d7 and to protect him. So when we put heavy pieces on b file, probably the pawn on b file will fall. So black needs to do something. For example, he can't play b6 to protect that pawn, because we have knight c6 and we will capture some material here. Of course, b5 is also not available at the moment. Queen a7 to protect the pawn, then we have rook c7, and of course this is strong attack. I will show you that. So rook c7, and now after rook f8 we have again knight d7. I told you that, so the knight will fall. So practically he can't move the queen for now, and the rook. So they must stay there and to protect some squares near to the king, or on his side, on black side. So black is forced to take. And after he took that pawn on b4, now it's important for us to not take with the queen. Why? Because then the queen will lose on his activity, and probably the better way how we can capture this pawn is to bring our rook. And this is also connected with our idea to not trade the pieces. So rook c4 idea is to take with the rook, and then we have pressure on b7 pawn, and probably that pawn will fall. And also we didn't exchange the pieces, which is great. Okay, what else? What now black can play? So black in the game played here b3, which is the best move what he can play here. Why this move is good move? He's buying some time. For example, he can't move the queen, because okay, he can go here, but then we can just simply capture the pawn, and I don't see the purpose of queen d6. So now the pawn on b7 is hanging. So maybe later, but let's see first. So b3 first. And or if he plays something like queen a7, again we have rook c7 with old idea. So b3 first, and now again smart move from white, rook b4. Still we don't want to move the queen from this place, and that is why rook b4 first. Okay, now black made crucial mistake. He played queen a7. Idea is again black is expecting that white won't capture with the queen, which is more unlogical here. So why he spends 2 tempos if he now takes with the queen? So he will take with the rook. But if he takes with the rook, then the pawn on a4 will fall. But this pawn on a4 is not that important for us. Let's have a look what was the best here for black first, and then we will continue our main variation. So queen d6. Queen d6 was the best here, and after now we can capture with the queen, and it's better to capture now with the queen because we want to cover d1 square. Why this d1 square is important? Because if we allow black to play queen d1, then he is threatening something like rook d2, and then he can maybe organize some strong attack on our king. Our king also could be exposed to attack if we don't pay attention about him. So that is why queen b3 first. And now we are allowing him to put the queen on second rank, but the king can help us in defending that pawn. And after maybe queen e2, with old idea to put on d2, we can play some simple move, queen c4, to provoke exchange. And after we exchange that, we can capture with the knight. And now the pawn will fall on b7. Because we have 2 pieces who can attack him, and he can use only the rook to protect him. So maybe rook d7 to protect the pawn, but now we can activate our knight. And after b6, so important move to not take here, because after we capture on b3, he can play rook a7, and now we are in problem how to unpin our knight. So he can constantly attack our rook to harass him, and then in some moment, I don't know, maybe we will trade, but probably that will also cause to lose our pawn on a4. So that is why instead to capture immediately the pawn, we can just bring the knight on c4, and now the pawn will fall definitely, because after knight d5 we can just simply capture. Rook b7 doesn't go because we have knight d5, and then we will protect our rook with the same move. So that is why he can just trade, and this is classical example. Some rook endgame with 1 pawn more, it should be winning for white, but we will do that on some next lessons. I will work with you some endgame, so I will explain you how to win such positions. Okay, let's back now to our position, our main variation. So after rook b4, queen a7 was in the game, and after queen a7, practically the game is over, because after we capture the pawn, we will complete our goal, what was here, or we will achieve that. We will put our heavy pieces on 7th rank, and once when we do that, the game is over, because after queen a4, what was in the game, we can just simply capture. And now the situation is totally bad for black, because he can't play rook f8. We have knight d7 then, and something will fall here, probably the knight. He must move the rook for that, but then the knight is for free, and the game is practically over after that. So he must play queen e8, and after that, one lovely move we can play here, and that is rook a7, and after rook a7, we just want to open some space for our queen, and she will be the last piece what we need to set up here, and then we can capture the pawn. Practically, black was without good move or without defending. It was so strong because there is no pawns who can defend this weakness on f7. That was the problem. And if the root of pawn chain is on f7, I mean only heavy pieces can defend him, because the knight was constantly in some mask, so he can't be moved from that place. Black needs to use heavy pieces to protect that, but of course it's not good. So now black try with some activity, but it's not good because we can capture the pawn on f7, and once when we capture the pawn on f7, now the king is totally exposed to attack, and after knight f7 black resigned the game, because now we are threatening knight g5 and to give checkmate. Depends where the king will go, maybe on f6 or h6, but we have a queen g7 probably in the next move, or queen h7, depends where is the black king, but definitely that would be checkmate. So what we can learn from this lesson? How is important to recognize where is the weakness. The weakness was on f7, and now we just need to figure out how to put our pieces to attack more that weakness. So we figure out first that we can't use what is already open here, so we need to come up with new plan how to open even more this position, because when we open, then we can put our heavy pieces on 7th rank. So basically we just wanted to exchange those pawns, and then we have open files for our heavy pieces. And also during that plan we try to not exchanging our pieces because we need them for attack. Thank you if you enjoy in this lesson. Please subscribe and see you in the next video. Bye bye.